Jayson Tatum has proved time and time again that he's one of the best players in the NBA. This is why Jayson Tatum is currently the best player in the NBA. And to start off, we're gonna take it all the way back. Jayson Tatum, like many other NBA players, beat the odds as it pertains to their upbringing. And there are a number of difficult times to choose from. Like, back when he was a kid, there were bills left unpaid for months. Utilities were turned off. And for a few years, Jayson Tatum would sleep in the same bed as his mother, Brandy Cole. And at one point, they didn't have any furniture at all. But that stuff was just details. The kind of challenges and struggles you'd expect when you're the only child of a single mom who had you at 19. And Cole, JT's mom, shielded her son from most of it. She was determined that no matter what the statistics showed about teenage parents, she would become a success, and he would learn from that. So she didn't let him worry about the everyday struggles during those times. And when Tatum was in the first grade, a teacher asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up. You know, a typical question to ask a child. And for Tatum, the answer was easy. He told his teacher he wanted to be an NBA player, of course. The teacher heartily laughed. "Pick a realistic profession," she told Tatum. "Change your dreams." And rightfully so, Tatum's mom was pissed. "I was livid," Tatum's mom says. "I went into the school the next day and talked to the teacher. And it wasn't like a two-way conversation. I said, 'Ma'am, with all due respect, if you ask him a question and he answers, I don't think it's appropriate to tell him that's something he can't achieve when I'm at home telling him anything he can dream is possible.'" Way to go, Mom. And this would set Jayson Tatum up for success throughout the rest of his life. The thing with Jayson Tatum now is there are no holes in his game. He's the best all-around player in the NBA. Think about it. There are virtually no weaknesses in his game. He can score from three. He can pull up off the dribble. He can finish through contact. He rebounds his position. He's a really good passer now. He's also a really good defender. And he's only getting better. You see, we forgot what he was even a couple years ago. On the offensive end, he couldn't finish through contact. He didn't want contact. Now, he wants it. He absorbs it. He finishes through it. Just listening to him talk, you can tell he's gotten so much more mature about everything, about the right things. Instead of worrying about maybe the second contract or some of those things, his numbers, his points, he could always do this and make people better. He's just more matured. And 4 years ago, it was happening right before our eyes. Let's not forget that having just turned 20 years old, Jayson Tatum entered the Eastern Conference Finals and prepared for a head-to-head battle against one of his childhood idols, LeBron James. This was during a time that LeBron reaching the finals was already a given, and each series leading up to his showdown with Golden State lacked outside interest. However, Tatum put the world on notice. As a rookie, he wasn't gonna back down. The Celtics knew they were too undermanned for anyone to take them seriously. But Tatum and Jaylen Brown had everyone second-guessing themselves as the series extended to 7 games. From the moment Tatum delivered this thunderous jam on James, who was the best player in the world at the time, it was clear he would be on this stage for many years to come. Now, in only his 5th season, Boston's new face of the franchise has battled his way through his 3rd Eastern Conference Final and has led his team to the NBA Finals. He already has over 70 playoff games under his belt, something only a handful of stars have ever been able to say before the age of 25. You see, in Boston's current playoff run, Tatum has maintained his identity as a resilient superstar. And everyone who knows Tatum seems to come back to this. He might be naturally gifted. He might work on his game obsessively. But what seems to distinguish him in the biggest moments, and there have been many during these playoffs, as he has led the Boston Celtics to once again their first NBA Finals in 12 years, is his belief in himself. Jayson Tatum's numbers through the first 3 years of his promising career are beyond impressive. But when you put those numbers into perspective and compare them with what some NBA legends did at such a young age, it's truly remarkable what he's accomplished already. You see, the only players to ever tally at least 3,400 points, 1,100 rebounds, 425 assists, and 150 blocks before age 22 were LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kevin Garnett, and Tracy McGrady. Jayson Tatum made this list as well. And at 21, Tatum was a leader of this list consisting of NBA legends, being the youngest player to score his 3,476th point, a feat that players like Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, and Larry Bird reached when they were 23, 24, and 24 years of age respectively. And lists like this are commonplace for JT, even making close comparisons to Kobe Bryant. You see, Los Angeles Lakers legend Kobe Bryant was Jayson Tatum's hero and mentor, and it just so turns out that the two had a lot in common. Comparing Jayson Tatum and Kobe Bryant through the first 50 games of their age 21 seasons, in points, Tatum had 1,121, Bryant with 1,118. Rebounds, Tatum had 347, Bryant 295. Assists, Tatum at 146, Bryant at 231. Steals, Tatum at 69, Bryant at 78. And blocks, Tatum at 44 and Bryant at 49. And anytime you can compare stats with the Black Mamba, you're in some good company. Jayson Tatum also has the third most regular season and postseason wins at or before age 21, coming just after first ballot Hall of Famers like Kobe Bryant at 219, Tony Parker at 195, and then Jayson Tatum at 153. Oh yeah, did I mention Jayson Tatum is the only NBA player ever to notch at least 400 points, 100 rebounds, and 50 assists in the playoffs before turning 21? But that's just how he compares to past legends. But what about how he's faring against today's greats? This past 2021-2022 season, Tatum was an MVP caliber player. And although he didn't win the award, he led his team further than the likes of Joel Embiid, who's only gotten as far as the second round, and Nikola Jokic, two-time MVP winner. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is winning. And aging LeBron didn't even make the playoffs this year, while Tatum led his team to the number 2 seed in the East after starting the season 16-19. And along his way to the NBA Finals, him and his Celtics eliminated NBA MVPs Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And the way he did it was nothing short of poetic justice. Because in the past 3 playoffs, Tatum was destroyed by the likes of Giannis, Jimmy Butler, and Kevin Durant. And in the 2019 Eastern Conference semifinals, the Celtics lost to the Bucks. Giannis put up astronomical numbers in that series, and the Celtics couldn't do anything about it, getting booted out in 5 games. In the 2020 Eastern Conference Finals, the Miami Heat stood in the way of the Celtics, and Jayson Tatum was humbled by Butler and Adebayo, getting defeated in 6 games. And in the 2021 playoffs, they met the Brooklyn Nets in the first round. And although Jayson Tatum put up great numbers, the trio of Kyrie, Harden, and KD was too much for them to handle, getting kicked out in 5 games. Remember a little bit earlier I said poetic justice, right? Because after taking all that experience in, bottling it up, and honing it, this man came back in the 2022 playoffs and was blessed with the opportunity to face all 3 of his adversaries in the 2022 playoffs. So without hesitation, He and the Celtics took on the challenge to wash away the frustrations of losing for 3 consecutive years. In the first round, coupled with his newfound defensive abilities, Tatum was effective on both ends of the court as he outplayed both Durant and Irving in the first round. He put up averages of 29.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 7 assists, and almost 2 steals a game. Tatum and the Celtics swept the Nets, putting a check on their first revenge. And in the Eastern Conference semifinals, he went against Giannis and the Bucks. And despite being without Chris Middleton, the Bucks proved to be a bit of a handful for the Celtics. But Tatum came through for his team as he competed on both ends of the floor and put up averages of 27.5 points, 6 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block per game in that series. But they got their vengeance on the Milwaukee Bucks. Check on revenge number 2. In the Eastern Conference Finals, they met the Miami Heat, who were led by Jordan-possessed Jimmy Butler. He had to go through the challenge of having multiple defenders on him in that series, yet he still put up 25 points, 8 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and 1 steal a game in that series. And despite throwing everything they had, the Heat were denied a finals appearance by the Celtics in 7 games. Check number 3 secured. Just pure dominance over some of today's current greats. Jayson Tatum deservingly won the Larry Bird Eastern Conference MVP as he got his revenge on all the teams who have defeated them in the past. And it cannot get any sweeter than this. Or can it? Of course, winning the NBA championship against a dynasty like the Golden State Warriors is surely going to be the cherry on top. He should be revered as the one player you must go through to reach the pinnacle of NBA dominance. And that's the end of the video. I really appreciate you for making it this far. And if you haven't already, please leave a like on the video and hit subscribe for more dope NBA content.